Hey everybody, welcome to Cage My IQ. As always, I'm your host D-Baked. Today we will be recapping PFL 8 2021, which was headlined by Kayla Harrison versus Genah Fabian in the playoffs, semifinals, the PFL playoffs. As always, this is Cage My IQ, the best place for MMA content. You can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch at the handles to the left. We are partnered with the Fighters First Network, so if you could go to the Fighters First Network on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on this video, and hit the notification button on YouTube so you don't miss any of our videos that we put out daily on the Fighters First Network. And as always, we have merch out now. So go, all you gotta do is go to fightersfirst.shop, scroll down to the Cage My IQ collection, click the box, and then check out the shirt that we have in 3 different styles, and then the hoodie that we have out too. With the fall coming out in the next month or two, now's the perfect time to buy your hoodie before the temperature drops down. It gets a little bit cold, but we also have stuff coming out in the near future, so definitely look out for all that stuff, and we'll give you a shout out when the new merch is out. But definitely check out everything on the website that we have, uh, all with Cage My IQ. We also have stuff for Art of MMA, and then we also have the Tune-Up Crew shirts for Brandon Catino, and then the Legendary shirts. So check it all out, buy some merch, and then let us know if you get any and what you think of it. And if you shout us out on Instagram or Twitter, we'll give you a personal shout out on next week's show. But once again, check out our merch at fightersfirst.shop. Now let's get to the action here on PFL Week 8. This was a great action on this whole card, and then to get to see 6 more fighters make it to the finals on October 26th for the PFL championships. Let's get started with the first fight on action. It was a heavyweight semifinals matchup, which saw number 3 Ante Delija defeat number 2 Denis Goltsov by unanimous decision. This was a nice gritty fight for Ante Delija. Everybody thought that Denis Goltsov was going to win this fight by his jab, his sambo, taking down Ante Delija and just smothering him all fight and landing the shots that he wanted to land. But in return, this fight started out with them trading a couple shots, but it was Ante Delija who basically struck first in the first round by getting Goltsov to the ground. He wasted basically the last 2.5 minutes of the fight by holding Goltsov down, and then Goltsov had no answer for the takedown. He got taken down and then limited to just having 50-50 with striking between the two. They basically had the same amount of striking up to that point, but Ante Delija was able to get him down and steer round 1. Whereas in round 2, it went more so Denis Goltsov's way. He was getting him with the striking. He was able to take Ante Delija down, and then he did a lot on the ground with the ground striking. It was a more sound round for him. Whereas the first round, it was just a split round for Ante Delija, where he just basically needed that takedown to ride out the round 1 spot for him. Then round 2, of course, went to Goltsov. Round 3 looked like it was going to be Goltsov with his strike, and he had the more better strikes in the first couple minutes of the round. And then he got taken down once again. And then once again, just like in the first round, Ante Delija just grinded out that takedown, made sure that he stayed on top. He made sure he moved around and was hitting him a little bit, and then just kept the action on the ground until the last 10 seconds of the fight. And then at the end of the day, the bell rang. The fight went to the judges, and they all saw it 29-28. Ante Delija by unanimous decision over Denis Goltsov, but the nice, gritty, dirty tactics that he had versus Denis Goltsov, and that allows him to move on to the finals of the heavyweight portion of the PFL championship in October. In the second fight on the main card, we had a women's lightweight semifinal matchup that saw number 4 Taylor Guardado defeat number 5 Mariana Morais by split decision. As you know, Larissa Pacheco missed weight the other day, so Mariana Morais steps into her spot in the playoffs. And that's why you see the number 4 versus number 5 matchup, because Pacheco was the number 1 seed. And in this matchup, it was really a close fight, and it was really fun to watch because in her first couple of fights, you didn't see that many leg kicks from Taylor Guardado, but just like you see in the scorecard right there, in this fight, Taylor Guardado had 28 of 34 leg strikes, which is by far twice as many as she had in the first 2 fights combined. And then she had the 18 arm strikes, but it was her ground game that helped her out in this fight, along with the leg kicks. A lot of people thought that the first round went to Mariana Morais because of that judo throw, that hip toss that she had. But everybody has to remember that Taylor Guardado did that to her right beforehand, so they both have one in the first round. But Guardado did more of the striking in that round, so I gave the first round to her because of those leg kicks. Then the second round, that was all Guardado because she was able to get the takedown a minute or so in. She kept her on the ground for a few minutes and then was hitting her in the stomach and hitting her until Morais got back up, and then she was throwing more leg kicks at her. And that second round, just like in the first fight, the second round was clear-cut Taylor Guardado. And then in the third round, she started to do work in the first 2 minutes and then add to her striking total, but then Morais came back strong with the last couple rounds with the takedown, and then she was doing work in the last minute where she got a good almost 15 to 20 strikes in. And people thought that she might have pulled it out, and even one judge gave it 29 to 28 Morais, but the other two gave it Taylor Guardado 29 to 28, and then she winds up advancing by split decision 29 to 28, 28 to 29, and 29 to 28 over Morais, and Taylor Guardado moves on to the PFL championship with this victory over her opponent, Mariana Morais. And now we're going to get to who her opponent is going to be in the main event. But let's get moving from this matchup to the heavyweight semifinal matchup to see who goes on against Ante Delija. And in this co-main event, in the heavyweight semifinals, number 1 seed Bruno Cappelozza defeated number 4 Jamelle Jones by second round TKO. This was a lopsided affair in this fight, whereas Bruno Cappelozza, who in his first couple fights was able to get out of those 2 fights very quickly. He was in the cage for a total of 2 to 3 minutes in those 2 fights, but in this one it went 2 rounds, but it could have been sooner than that with the leg kicks that he was throwing. But he was being more patient in this fight, which I think will be beneficial for him in the finals. Jamelle Jones was giving him a lot of looks, and he went for a couple of takedowns, but Bruno Cappelozza was able to stuff Jones' takedowns, and then Jones just didn't seem right because halfway through the first, Bruno kicked him with a very sharp left kick to the ankle of Jones, and then he just seemed to not move the seam and then had the power in his shots that he normally does. And for that last half of the first round, he just was very slow, very hesitant, and afraid of the leg kicks of Bruno Cappelozza, which he connected on probably 4 in the first round, and then it connected on a couple punches, I think 7 total in the first round. But then he picked it up in the second round once Jones was feeling a little bit more up to the challenge of trying to trade with him. Jones connected on a couple leg kicks in round 2 and even a couple strikes, but at the end of the day, Bruno Cappelozza was the one stalking him down, getting him close to the cage, and then throwing those snapping leg kicks at Jones, even a couple times, making Jones fall down or knee down for a second to use time to get the effects of the leg kick off of him. And it was just a matter of time before Cappelozza was able to land that jab to the face of Jones, which put Jones down. And then that's when Cappelozza started just wailing at Jones while he was on the ground right before the ref called for the bell and then stopped the fight. And Bruno Cappelozza was able to defeat Jamelle Jones by second round TKO victory, which will put him into the finals of the PFL Heavyweight Championship, in which he's going to have a rematch against Ante Delija from earlier this season. And that's going to be a really good fight if Ante Delija can learn from that fight and then use what he did in this fight to game plan for Bruno Cappelozza. But this guy has been dominant this whole season. He's had 3 fights. He's 3-0. And he has 3 knockout victories. And you can't get any better than that. Moving on to the main event of PFL 8, we had a women's lightweight semifinal matchup that saw number 2 Kayla Harrison defeat number 3 Genah Fabian by first round TKO. This was a big lopsided matchup here as Genah Fabian didn't land a single strike. She went 0 for 1 with her striking, whereas Kayla Harrison just dominated this. The first round or 2 was her running in, getting into the clinch and holding her, and then the 2 just moving back and forth within the clinch. And probably around the 3-minute mark left in the round, Kayla was able to push Genah against the cage, and then eventually getting her down to the ground after hitting her with a couple strikes, and then that's where the action happened. She was able to control the top guard. She landed some strikes to the head of Genah Fabian, and then she was trying to go for that armbar, but then Genah Fabian was able to stop it. But then that's when the fight got out of hand, because once she got a hold of the arm of Genah Fabian, she was able to step back into top guard and start ground and pound her. And then when Fabian tried to move to the side, that's when Kayla Harrison was able to grab the one arm and hold it back. And then as Fabian was trying to get to her, get up, she held that and then started just wailing at the face of Fabian. And that's when Fabian fell to the ground, and Kayla Harrison was able to get a good 30-35 punches in on a defenseless Fabian on the ground before the ref decides to call for the fight to end. And then Kayla Harrison was able to get the first round victory by TKO over her opponent with 1 minute left in the first round, which was crazy. And then afterwards, they interviewed Harrison, and she had said that this is nothing new for her. You put a fighter in front of her, she's going to finish them. And then there was a lot of talk in post-fight about her comments of her being the face, and then she's going to win. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of just getting to the fight and then finishing her opponent. And now we know that the women's lightweight finals is set, and it's going to be Kayla Harrison versus Taylor Guardado for the $1 million, and then the 2021 crown of women's lightweight champion. And for Kayla Harrison, she's pulling that heel tactic of everybody's questioning me and everybody's coming after me. I might as well just embrace it and then show my confidence out. You had people in attendance like Nunez and Shears, and then you had Cyborg commenting on Twitter right after the fight saying she can make the 155 pounds. And all Kayla Harrison said was, you put somebody in front of me, I'm going to finish him and beat him, because that's what I do. I'm the face, and I'm one of the best women in MMA, and she's having the cockiness to add to it, which is making for a nice showing from her. And at the end of the day, in the main event of PFL 8 2021, Kayla Harrison defeated her opponent Genah Fabian by first round TKO, and is now moving to the finals, as I said before. That'll wrap things up for the PFL 2021 Kayla Harrison versus Genah Fabian recap show by yours truly, D-Bake of Cage My IQ. As always, we give a shout out to our sponsors, 99 Jersey, which you use promo code SportsBoxShow20 at checkout to receive 20% off your next purchase. You got Oddsjam. All you gotta do is go to the link in the bio, click the link, sign up, and watch as you never lose a bet again. And then lastly, we got High Tide Herbal. Use promo code CageMyIQ10 at checkout to receive 10% off your next purchase. High Tide Herbal is a company owned by coaches and athletes who specialize in speedy recovery. All the products have CBD oil in it, and the goal of High Tide Herbal is to help athletes recover faster from injuries. So once again, High Tide Herbal, put in the promo code CageMyIQ10 in to receive 10% off your next purchase. That'll wrap things up for this recap video. As always, check out all of our stuff on the Fighters First Network. We're producing a lot of content on here from week to week. All I ask for you to do is to subscribe to the network, hit the like button on this video, and make sure you hit the notification button on our YouTube page. So whenever we put stuff out, you get the notification, so you never miss anything when it comes out, because we put out so much for MMA, and all you gotta do is check your notifications so you can see when it's put out. But once again, thank you guys for tuning in and for supporting Cage My IQ. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. Talk to you guys later.